Hello again, this is Holly Markovich, and I just wanted to go through a quick problem on page 13 of our lab manual. This one basically is a sales company advertises a job opening with an annual salary described by the piecewise function. So in a video prior to this one we talked about piecewise functions, and you may recall that I said that this first part, 0.08x plus 10,000 and 0.12x plus 6,000, that's basically called the range of this function. And then we would have this part over here, the domain, the input values. So it says that X is the expected annual commission. Really what X is the annual sales there. This is going to give us, I think that might be a typo. So I put sales there to make this question a little bit more understandable. So what we want to do is essentially we're going to start with our domain values. So let's go ahead and start with a column for X and then a column for S of X. And it looks like we certainly want to go up to 100,000 and we want to go over 100,000. So perhaps we just start with 0. What if we skip count by 50,000? So that means we would say 0, 50,000, and then we could pull it down to as far as we wanted there. Okay. It says, use the if function in Excel to build a table and graph of values from 0 to 400,000. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go into our formula cell, which is column B, cell B3. That's associated with our first value of our domain. Very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to type an equal sign, and then we're going to type function. We want if. Okay, so here's our logical test. I'm going to cancel that and do it one more time. We're going to go here, equal f of x. If we just click that, that inserts a function for us. We want the if function. So if the if function on your computer isn't showing up, you can just use this bar and find it and scroll down until you see it. Okay, logical test. The logical test, the first field that we need to enter there is going to come from the domain. So the test is that we want our input value, A3, notice I just clicked it, to be less than or equal to 100,000. If that's true, if it's less than or equal to 100,000, then what we want is for that first part of the range to be true or to be used. So we're going to type in 0.08 times, again, let's access that, A3 plus 10,000. Now, the next one says value if it's false. That basically is, well, what happens if we're going to go over 100,000? We need the other part of the range there. And so we're going to type in 0.12 times, again, access that cell. Every value here for X needs to come from the same place, and they've all come from that first cell there, A3, plus 6,000. Okay, so when I click OK, it's going to give me 10,000, which basically says if I don't make any sales this year, I'm still going to get a base pay of $10,000. That's essentially what that means. Well, let's double click it down. You can see that I've taken my domain down to $450,000 in sales, and this asked us in part A to go to 400. We're good. So when you look at this, if you think about what it's saying, if you're at a level of $50,000 in sales, you would make a salary of $14,000. If you're at a level of $250,000 in sales, you would make a salary of $36,000, and so on. Okay, so it says determine the annual salary if the total sales are $120,000. All we need to do for that is go up into our domain and replace one of our domain values. So if I replace 150,000 with 120,000 and hit enter, that gives us a salary of $20,400 at a sales level of $120,000. Part C says determine the amount of sales necessary to generate an annual salary of $40,000. Okay, this is a big conversation to have just regarding GoalSeek, because what this is if you think about what I've given you in question B, I've given you the input value of $120,000. GoalSeek is used when we don't know the input value. GoalSeek helps us find it. Okay, so the way that we use this now, we want to know the amount of sales necessary to generate an annual salary of $40,000. You can hold your cursor, just click on, you can click on any cell in your range column, in SX, your function column there. You have to have the cell outlined, and then what you want to do is go to Data, What If, GoalSeek. The value that says Set Cell should be the value that you've clicked on. The to value is whatever value has been given to you that we know. So we know that the salary is going to be $40,000. The cell that we want to change is always going to be the cell that's in the same row with that function value. So I'm going to click on 450,000, hit OK, and what that does is basically say, well, to make a salary of $40,000, you would have to approximately sell $283,333 worth of goods. If you just inspect the data that we have and you think about where 40 would fall, well, $36,000 is the salary if we sold $250,000 worth of goods. $42,000 is a salary there. So there is even an estimation that could take place. But the use of GoalSeek in this problem in Excel makes our work very easy.